Hey, it's Celebrate Truth. I'm Robbie Davidson, and as we're closing down the year 2018, we're moving into 2019, and of course, with a new year comes more propaganda, more indoctrination for the masses, especially when it comes to space agencies. Let's get into it. We got an article here, all the incredible stuff happening in space in 2019. This should be good. Let's get into it. The past year saw tremendous advancements in humanity's capacity to explore space, and 2019 promises to be no different, from mysterious Kuiper Belt objects and Martian probes to historic rocket launches and daring efforts to touch the sun. Here's what the next 12 months have in store. New horizons will encounter Ultima Thule. The year 2019 will start with a bang as NASA's new Horizons visits Ultima Thule, a mysterious Kuiper Belt object located 4 billion miles, 6.5 billion kilometers from the sun. At 12:33 a.m. Eastern on January 1st, the spacecraft will zoom past Ultima Thule at speeds reaching 31,500 miles per hour, only 50,700 kilometers per hour, snapping as many pics as possible at resolutions between 98 and 230 feet. 30 to 70 meters per pixel. Whoa! The historic close approach to Ultima Thule, also known as 2014 MU-69, will be the first ever flyby of a Kuiper Belt object. During the flyby, we'll learn if Ultima Thule is a close binary system, a contact binary in which two pieces are touching, or something else entirely. The object or objects is around 19 miles in diameter, 30 kilometers, and irregularity shaped. Using its many onboard instruments, New Horizons will also map the object's surface geology to learn how it formed, measure its surface temperature, search for signs of comet-like activity like melting ice, among other mission objectives. We're into rovers romping on the moon. All right, more rovers romping on the moon in 2019. The moon should receive at least a pair of new robotic visitors in 2019. That's right, we got more fake rovers supposedly going to the moon. All right, China's Chang'e 4 lander and rover, which launched on December 8th, 2018, are expected to reach the surface of the far side of the moon. Get that? Far side of the moon on January 3rd. Or possibly earlier. The landing site is the 110-mile wide, 180 kilometers Von Karima crater, a lunar impact crater in the southern hemisphere. Because it will be on the moon's far side, CE4 will communicate with Earth via China's Kuiper satellite, which launched in May. How convenient, going to the other side of the moon where no one can verify. That makes a lot of sense. If successful, the mission will involve the first soft landing and inspection of the moon's far side, according to China's National Defense Science and Technological Bureau. The lander and six-wheeled rover will measure the temperature of the lunar surface, analyze lunar rocks and dust, and study cosmic rays, among other things. The mission will also determine whether the region is quiet enough from human technology activity to build a deep space radio telescope. The mission should last for at least 3 months. At some point during the second half of 2019, India will launch its own rover to the moon as part of the Indian Space Research Organizations. A six-wheeled rover will move around a landing site near the moon's south pole, observing the lunar surface and transmitting data back to the Earth above it. I don't even know what that is. 2 satellite will continue scientific information about lunar topography, minerals, and moon's practicality, non-existent atmosphere, while also searching for signs of water and ice. Wow, you're really desperate to find that water, aren't you, NASA? And who knows, perhaps the team participating in the Lunar X Prize will finally land a rover on the moon. But we'll believe it when we see it. Yeah, well, we'll believe it when we never see it, or we just see more fakery and putting stuff that people will believe, even though they have no data to support it. All right? At some point early 2019, hopefully in late January, Japan's Hayabusa will extract surface samples from Ryugu asteroid. That's right, they're going to an asteroid to extract samples from an asteroid. JAXA is still trying to find the perfect spot to do its work, as flat regions on the space rock are proving hard to come by. Oh, can't find plane surfaces on an asteroid. Oh no. In December 2019, the probe will take its last samples and begin its journey back to Earth. Should all go well, it will mark the first time a probe has extracted samples from an asteroid and returned them for analysis. NASA's contract with Russia ends in April, so it's imperative that the space agency find another means to deliver its astronauts to space. The private sector is on the case, and in 2019 promises to be the year in which the United States finally restores its ability access to International Space Station on its own, something it hasn't been able to do since the Space Shuttle program. On January 17th, SpaceX, in cooperation with NASA's Commercial Crew program, is set to use Falcon 9 rocket to launch an uncrewed Crew Dragon spacecraft to the ISS. Should this test go well, a crewed mission could happen as early as June 18th. NASA astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Beckrum have tapped for the mission. All right. In March, a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket will launch Boeing's first CST-100 Starliner, also uncrewed, to the ISS. A subsequent crewed test with Boeing astronaut Chris Ferguson and NASA astronaut Eric Boe and Nicole Mann could happen in August, according to NASA. Jeff Bezos! All right, Amazon, here we go. Space firm Blue Origin is also expected to conduct both crewed and uncrewed missions in 2019 with its new Shepard Suboreal vehicle, with dates still to be determined. Yeah, right. Amazon, stick to delivering packages to my home. I like my delivery. It comes nice and quick. You're not going anywhere in space. Opportunity rover, won't you please call home? NASA's Opportunity rover has been silent since June 10th, when a global scale dust storm knocked the probe into a hibernation mode from which it hasn't been able to awake. Can we have a moment for opportunity? An opportunity to deceive the masses? Oh, even with a story like this, it makes it more believable. Oh, we can't get contact because a dust storm made it so we can't contact one of our rovers. But don't worry, the other rover is going strong. Mission controllers have been listening to the rover over a broad range of times and frequencies over the Deep Space Network radio science receiver, but to no avail. NASA will keep trying with its sweeps and beeps. And in coming weeks and months, but should Opportunity fail to signal home, mission controllers might have to finally and regrettably declare the 15-year mission over. Oh, can we have a moment of silence? No, let's not. Insightful drilling on Mars. The Opportunity news is sad, but at least Curiosity is still chugging along. That's right, Curiosity sending off curious pictures back millions of miles through its magical Wi-Fi. That's right. Go to NASA if you want high-speed connection, because they know how to do it. There's also NASA InSight to consider, which landed on Mars in late November. The stationary probe should start drilling into the Martian surface in late January or early February. InSight team members will finish deploying the seismometer in January and monitor for markquakes around this time. The probe will use its robotic arm and set up the heat probe. The purpose of the mission is to enhance our understanding of planetary formation and the inner geology of Mars. To that end, InSight will use its instruments to measure systematic activity, temperature, and air pressure. See, more stuff with Mars. And I did a video just a few days ago, actually, talking about how former astronauts have said that this whole idea of going to Mars, colonizing it, is just nonsense. And both of them agree that it's just absolute foolishness. And yet we keep this idea of going to Mars one day because an asteroid's going to hit the planet. Therefore, we've got to colonize somewhere. So yeah, let's go to Mars. Let's colonize Mars, of all places. But again, when you start looking into it, you see a lot of deceptions, a lot of programming, even back into 1950s, where they were actually programming and getting people ready for this idea of one day colonizing Mars. Swooping spacecraft. Get ready! We're increasing picturesque photos of Jupiter and the Sun, courtesy of the Juno probe and the Parker Solar Probe. Oh, isn't that a beautiful picture? Look at that, a glorious shot of Jupiter's swirling clouds. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Beautifully fake. NASA's Juno spacecraft is scheduled for more pre-JOs in 2019. A pre-JO being an object's closest object, I can't even speak. NASA's Juno spacecraft is scheduled for more pre-Joves in 2019. And pre-Jove being an object's closest orbital approach to Jupiter's center. Juno's 18th pre-Jove will happen on February 17th and its 19th on April 6th. Juno has already provided extraordinary detailed shots of Jupiter's cloud tops, but the probe is getting increasingly closer to the majestic gas giant. Wow. Meanwhile, the Parker Solar Probe will continue its historic, yet ultimately doomed mission to touch the sun. Oh, let's do a mission to touch the sun. Its second and third, the points to which is closest to the sun during its orbital and scheduled for April 4th and September 1st on December 26th. The Parker Probe will get its second gravity assist from Venus. This flyby will result in important new data about the sun, such as the nature of its corona and the ability to churn out solar storms. All right, and get ready for this. That's right, the 50th anniversary of Apollo 11 moon landing. This should be good. July 16th, 2019 will be the 50th anniversary of the fake moon, the anniversary of the Apollo 11th moon landing. Expect tons of media coverage in the coming months. Yes, this is going to be a huge year, guys, for the moon landing again, because again, supposedly it's the 50th year anniversary. Get ready for tons and tons of propaganda. There's going to be coins. There's going to be all sorts of things to commemorate the 50th year. Let's put out a movie on the 49th year, though. First Man. That makes a lot of sense. Would have made more sense to maybe make one more year and then do it on a big day like the 50th year anniversary on June 16th. Would have been a really good idea, Hollywood, to maybe release it then. But hey, thanks, because maybe it would have programmed people even more with the nonsense that they actually went to the moon in 1960s and 70s. Give me a break. Seriously, people, if you honestly believe they went to the moon, this is why you're so probably deceived with so many things, is because you just believe anything they put out. They can actually make you believe that they went to the moon 250,000 miles away in 1960s and 70s, and yet since then the furthest they can go is like 250 miles. ISS, low Earth orbit, this is what they admit. I've done tons of stuff on my channel with their own words. It's not just me saying it, it's them saying it. Okay, it's time to actually start looking into it and go, wait a minute, what's going on? Oh, they don't need to go to the moon because they already went there. You know how many times I've heard that? They don't need to go to the moon because they've already been there. Then why is China trying to go there? Why is India trying to go there, sending probes? But yet they can't get men there, can they? But also they go to the dark side. They go to the far side of the moon where we can't validate. That's right, because the P1000, even the P900 can zoom in pretty close. We could probably verify things. But again, they're going to go to the place that nobody can verify. And let's go to planets, so-called planets, that nobody at all could verify being, 100 million miles away. The number of events that have been scheduled to commemorate the historical milestone, including, look at all of them, they're just everyone. Look at this, the Space Museum in Denver, you got Kennedy Space Center, you've got, everyone is going to be jumping on this. Look at this, just crazy. U.S. Mint will be releasing the Apollo 50th anniversary commemorative coins on January 24th, which looks pretty awesome. Yeah, look at that awesome, look at that shadows going this way and that way, and look at the shadows. All right, look at the shadows. So all I got to say is you got shadows going this way, but the flag you got to go in this way. All right, big problem there on your coin. Maybe I'll do a video on the release of the U.S. Mint showing, guys, look, we'll show you even the shadows fake on a coin, and yet you believe it. All right, let's continue. The European Space Agency is planning to launch the CHEOPS Space Telescope at some point in October or November. Once in orbit, this space-based telescope will hunt for extrasolar planets, particularly those in the Earth to Neptune range in terms of size. CHEOPS will lift off from Soyuz rocket and settle into the orbit about 430 miles. 700 kilometers above Earth. CHEOPS will use a tried and true transit method of detection, scanning stars for signs of exoplanets passing in front of them. CHEOPS was originally supposed to launch in 2015, so this is long overdue. Just like so much of the space program, we're supposed to launch, but we don't. We keep procrastinating, we keep pushing it. Oh, we got problems. Oh, these things aren't working well. But yes, in the 1960s and 70s, not a problem. No delays. Everything was working A-okay. No equipment failure, no one problem with radiation, went through those Van Allen radiation belts, no problem. But we don't know how to do it anymore. We've destroyed the technology and we can't go back. This is their words, not mine. So don't, before you start commenting and start freaking out, hey man, you start looking into it yourself. This is what they say, not me. All right, celestial eye candy for 2019. For you skywatchers out there, 2019 will feature some interesting astronomical phenomena. The total lunar eclipse on January 21st will be visible to observers in North America, South America, and Eastern Pacific Ocean, the Western Atlantic Ocean, and extreme portions of Europe and Africa. On July 2nd, a total solar eclipse will be visible to observers in parts of the Southern Pacific Ocean, central Chile, and central Argentina. All right, Irlanducci, check that out. Get those cameras ready. Get those high altitude balloon footages ready. I think it's going to be pretty interesting, again, as we do more research on the phenomena as far as lunar eclipses and solar eclipses. 3 full supermoons will happen in 2019, January 21st, February 19th, and March 21st. Supermoons happen when the moon is at its closest approach to Earth, making it look slightly larger and brighter than usual. Jupiter will be at opposition and its closest approach to Earth on June 10th, at which time it will look big and bright. And good old Uranus will do the same on October 29th. All right, on November 11th, we'll see a rare transit of Mercury across the sun. This doesn't happen very often and won't occur again until 2039 by applying an approved solar filter to a telescope. Make sure it's approved. Don't put on a solar filter without it being proved. Make sure it's approved. Approved by who? Who knows? The FDA? I'm not sure, but make sure it's approved. Do not try to look at this phenomenon without an approved solar filter to the telescope or high-powered zoom. Amateur astronomers will be able to see the tiny black disk of Mercury move across the backdrop of the sun. This transit will be visible to observers in eastern North America, Mexico, Central America, South America, and parts of Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. All right. So there you go. Lots of moon propaganda, lots of ideas that they're going to touch the sun, and they're going to go to asteroids, and all this incredible stuff happening in space in 2019 just to keep all the NASA fanboys happy, to keep all the people that love space going, oh, look at, we're doing so much. What exactly are we doing? We're doing nothing. These space agencies are giving nothing back to humanity. NASA's getting $56 million per day. That's right, $56 million per day. What exactly are they doing? Jack squat. They can't even get to the ISS, apparently, for the last few years. Oh, we have to depend on Russia. Wait a minute. Wouldn't Russia expose it if NASA and the US were lying? Listen, they're all in on it. The whole thing's a sham. The whole nonsense of being able to go to distant planets. The whole idea of being able to go to the moon in 1960s and 70s. Give your head a shake. Please. It never happened. I know you saw it on TV. You heard it on the radio. Again, swallow the pride. I know you think it was amazing. Look, America did it. America did it. America didn't do it. Russia hasn't done anything. China hasn't done anything. India hasn't done anything. You cannot go. Just like Bill Nye said, there is no place to go. We are in an enclosed system. That's right. Whatever you want to call it. The fact is, we are not designed to be able to leave this place. We can't go to the outer edge. We can't go in high altitude. We can't even dig below and see what's below. We can only go 8 miles. That's the furthest that anyone's ever drilled, and yet they show us all the different layers. Again, this is theoretical nonsense. This is science fiction. The whole idea has been put in place to keep you from the true creator of creation. That's right, because the reality is, with their construct, with a nothing creating something and exploding and creating everything, gives you an atheistic worldview where they've created an entire reality that serves no purpose, that we're just evolved animals, that we're just going to die. The reality is we are special, we are unique. Space has been one of the most destructive forces in creating the illusion of distancing God, of actually making God that he's not even a reality. We do not need a creator because we understand through science and technology and space travel. And this is the reality, and this is what is so important. So while all this incredible stuff they say is going to be happening in 2019, understand that this incredible stuff, propaganda, lies that they're going to be perpetuating all throughout the year are going to continue destroying God in people's minds. More and more people are going to be falling away. They're going to be looking at the Bible as not being authoritative. And whether you have problems or not, the reality is you need to look into it. You need to realize that you are being lied to. And a lot of people will say, I don't believe it. It was just a book written by man. Well, listen, you're reading articles. You're looking at things that were, put together by man. Even science itself, the construct, has been put together by man. So you can't use that as an argument. What you need to do is to start looking into the truth. You need to research it for yourself. And yes, you can determine if these things are true. Just because an authoritative system, just because someone told you, just because your parents taught you, doesn't make it true. You need to look into all of this stuff in 2019. It will be such an important year, not just exposing the world's lies, but of course celebrating the truth. And that's what this channel is all about, is truly celebrating the truth. Search for the truth. It's out there, and the truth will set you free. I hope everyone has a great year. We're moving into 2019 in a few hours. Let's kick it off. Let's keep exposing all of these space lies, because there's just so many coming out. We're going to see a ton this year, being the 50th anniversary of the nonsense going to the moon in 1960s. Give me a break. Seriously, give me a break. And yet they're doing all of this stuff, launching rockets and making people believe that they're actually going to colonize Mars in like several years. Even former astronauts that were part of Apollo 11 laugh at the prospect. They think it's ridiculous. They think it's nonsense. Start looking into it. Look into both sides. Don't just be going with one thing your entire life. Start opening your mind, looking into it. Again, it's not that scary. And just because people ridicule you, laugh at you, again, let's ask questions. There's never, ever a time that we should be afraid to ask questions. Let's keep exposing the world's lies. Celebrate truth. Take care, guys. Blessings.